Coming up on Ag Week TV, we'll see how the blizzard in North Dakota impacted ranchers in the midst of calving and what it could mean for the state's drought status. The possible impact avian influenza could have on all poultry products. The region's dairy producers call for a change in their commodities pricing. And a nonprofit that allows people to have their hand in agriculture. Thanks for joining us for Ag Week TV. I'm Emily Beal. Ranchers have been in a fight against Mother Nature since a historic April blizzard dropped heavy wet snow over much of North Dakota. In fact, about 3/5 of the state got at least 18 inches, with some areas getting close to 4 feet in 2 rounds of storms. And it extended into surrounding states. As Rose Dunn reports, the timing for many ranchers couldn't have been worse, right in the middle of calving.
It's a little tough. We lost some cattle.
Gene Veter ranches near Watford City in far western North Dakota. He had just started calving when they were hit with more than 2 feet of snow. That's more snow than they've had for at least 3 years total.
With all these snow drifts, the cows wandered off and they would drop them in a snowbank. And we couldn't get to them, so we lost some.
It was the worst storm I've ever seen. I've lived here my whole entire life.
Holly Wilson ranches in Stark County, also in western North Dakota. She watched in horror as snow filled the barn and the relentless wind tore siding and part of the roof off of it, making things even worse for the animals inside.
You felt helpless, completely helpless. You know, you've spent your whole entire life building up something just to feel like it's going to just all fall away in one day.
Holly feels fortunate they didn't lose any animals like so many others did, despite heroic efforts to save them.
You take your baby, would you? Take your baby. We've lost some calves that got too chilled, didn't find them right away. So it's mentally tough. It's hard to go to sleep when you know that there's cows out there calving.
Gerald Stucka is an NDSU Extension veterinarian and livestock specialist, but he's also a rancher in the Cooperstown area. He and his family have about 200 red and black Angus cows.
Yeah, that's 8025's calf over there.
Like so many others across the state, they were in the middle of calving when the storm hit.
Normally this time of the year, we don't worry about snow and cold, and it's usually pretty nice for calving cows out on the range, basically.
Stucka says he's never seen an April like this. The hardest part has been that the storm and cold lingered and even dropped more snow for some. Many producers had to bring animals into their homes to help them survive the first few hours.
Usually they're pretty self-sufficient. Usually, even when the weather's tough, they can take care of these babies pretty well. And they still do, but sometimes, you know, some need some help, and we bring them in and warm them up and feed them a little bit, and then try and put them back with their mothers as quickly as possible. Despite the hardships of the late season storms, Veter sees the silver lining of lessening the severe drought they've been in for a long time.
This is the first mud I've seen for a couple of years, honestly, for several years.
And on top of all that, many parts of the region are expecting even more snow this weekend. Joining me now to talk about what it all means, especially about drought relief, is North Dakota State climatologist Adnan Akuz. So a lot of the parts that got the most snow were maybe most in need of moisture.
This is exactly what the doctors ordered. And I can say it's even better than doctors ordered. If the doctors order, for example, this time of the year in April, the precipitation would fall in terms of liquid. Rainfall in this intensity would fall on top of very dry soil, and it would overflow immediately. It would erode the soil. But what is happening, or what happened last week, is it snowed tremendously, and it broke records. That snow is going to melt, and it is going to trickle into the deeper portions of the soil, where it is going to rejuvenate that moisture that was really needed in these portions of the state. You have to keep in mind that we are just coming out of a big drought, especially in the western North Dakota.
So much of central western North Dakota are officially in drought, some D3 out of 4. Will this lift anybody up and out of drought?
So it is going to take some time for us to eliminate some of these, but definitely some of these D1, D2, and D3 areas are going to shrink.
So good news, bad news in that cooler forecast, it's going to delay planting a little bit.
Yes, let's do one thing at a time. Let's get the moisture first, and it is going to get warm, and it is going to warm up the soil more. And that soil is going to evaporate, that the moisture from the soil is going to evaporate, and it is going to be added into the atmosphere where it could rain again. So this is a locally provided moisture source becoming available for the local area. This is exactly what we needed to break that vicious cycle that we were in. So we needed something extraordinary to break that cycle. I think that snowfall event we had last week hopefully is the significant event that we were looking for.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Minnesota's senators and governor are working to get farmers the resources they need to fight the highly pathogenic avian influenza spreading across the state. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith and Governor Tim Walz held a news conference this week with representatives of the USDA and several other state ag agencies. The current HPAI outbreak has affected at least 17 counties and 46 sites around the state and more than 2 million birds. Governor Walz recently signed into law a bill that includes $1 million for assistance and recovery from HPAI. The legislation includes money for emergency response activities, disease surveillance, and provisions to protect the privacy of farmers and flock owners who seek mental health care. Soaring prices, shortages, and now bird flu, they're all impacting the prices of some foods. The spread of avian influenza means the price of turkey and chicken could go up, and availability could drop if enough birds are infected. Consumer price inflation in March jumped 8.5%, and it's not just poultry, but eggs too. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, right now retailers are paying around $2.80 for a dozen large grade A white eggs in the Midwest. That's more than double the roughly $1.25 they cost in March.
There's not a lot of flexibility in the demand for eggs, which means the prices really have to jump to ration what we've got.
According to the USDA, bird flu has been found in at least 30 states so far. Ahead on Ag Week TV, fears over fertilizer prices and supplies led many growers to buy early.
Saline can leave parts of a field unproductive, but now there's a solution. An Arizona company is taking technology developed for golf courses and using it to take salts out of the soil.
Calcium's kind of the bully of the soil, and so it pushes off the other nutrients off of the soil colloids.
It was black. The headlands were black, and nothing was growing. Even weeds had a tough time. Then we met up with Jim, came with a product called Calcine. Between the drain tile and Calcine, you see now that we have vegetation. We have actual corn coming here.
Our experience is normally along roadsides, whether it be highways, putting salt on highways and that's getting up in the fields, or satellite imagery, we looked at it, you can see exactly where the calcine was. We have more growth in those areas.
It is worth the investment. I mean, we've got growth, we've got things that are happening, so that's encouraging.
Contact Erickson Custom Operations for more information.
You can get the field results you want in varying conditions with the flexibility of the Summers VRT Renegade. Featuring on-the-fly blade angle adjustment from 0 to 19 degrees. And if you want the simplicity of a Super Coulter with the ability to move a little dirt, you'll love the all-new Summers Super Coulter Samurai. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about North America's broadest line of tillage equipment and other products from North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
At Advanced Grain Handling Systems, we're your full-service grain dryer and bin project partner. We'll handle everything from start to finish.
These guys are all in one. That was one of the big draws. They were the general. They took care of the electrical. They took care of the cement, took care of everything.
Whether your next project is big or small, let our team help with it all. Visit advancedgrainhandling.com.
Despite fears over high prices and short supplies, many farmers and fertilizer suppliers seem to be in generally good shape for the 2022 crop. Farmers we talked to in northeast South Dakota and western Minnesota say they avoided a tripling in fertilizer costs by buying supplies last fall. Gary Hansen and his son Cody raised corn, soybeans, and some wheat on 2,500 acres near Sisseton, South Dakota. They bought most of their inputs last fall to take advantage of the slightly lower prices.
And we capitalized on the new pricing of the commodities got high. So this year we're set pretty well with the pricing of our input costs and with the moisture up here in this corner of the state.
I don't know how high fertilizer is going to go, and if it's available, I guess, for the following year after that. That's kind of what I'm kind of wondering anyway.
Fertilizer was about $200 a ton higher than in 2021, and seed increased by about 10% from last year. Many dairy producers are calling for a change in how their commodity is priced. Ag Week's Michelle Rook takes a closer look at some possible changes.
For years, the federal milk marketing orders have put Midwestern dairy producers at a significant pricing disadvantage compared to the rest of the country. But now the dairy industry is looking at an overhaul. Economist Maren Bozick says most Midwest dairies produce milk for manufactured dairy products. So to put them at par with areas producing fluid milk, he's proposing sweeping changes in the federal milk marketing orders, including a milk check transparency report.
Which is a way for dairy producers to understand better their milk check and to understand better how they are being paid versus what others in the region are receiving.
Bozick says the orders also need to mandate fairness in milk contracting to help the industry better manage risk.
We need a new social contract between processors and producers so that no side feels taken advantage of, that everybody knows by which rules they're going to play.
And the regulatory change proposal also prohibits contracts where dairy buyers require exclusivity and impose volume limits.
If you're preventing someone from growing, if you're preventing someone from trying to reap efficiencies, then you have to allow them to ship their milk to multiple milk buyers. So that's why the volume limits and exclusivity should not come together in the same contract.
Dairy producers have formed a coalition to study the pricing system. They say the orders need to be modernized, and that was evident during the pandemic.
And that's what has driven this after the COVID and the negative PPDs that we saw for Class 1 milk. So let's take a wholesale look at it.
Post says their goal is for the pricing system to level the playing field,
so that it works for all parts of the country and that we can all use it in our areas.
Bozick says any changes in the federal milk marketing orders will need to be included in the next farm bill.
Thanks, Michelle. A North Dakota landowner is taking up the cause against the Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline. Jeff Beach joins us now to talk about what this could mean to the project.
Todd McMichael owns pasture land along the Cheyenne River near Kindred. It's in the path of the 2,000-mile pipeline, which will transport carbon from several ethanol plants in the upper Midwest to be buried in western North Dakota. And McMichael doesn't want a pipeline running through his land. Summit has said it will use eminent domain if landowners on the route don't give permission. McMichael says he and a group of like-minded landowners are fighting that. In the meantime, he has some advice for those who are approached by Summit.
Be patient. Don't be so anxious to sign their easements, and make sure you get legal counsel to review the easement before you sign it.
McMichael says so far landowners have convinced the Richland, Sargent, and Dickey County Commissions to pass resolutions opposing eminent domain. And he's working in several other counties to take similar action. It's on the Burleigh County agenda in May. Summit would like to start construction in 2023 and have the pipeline operating in 2024.
Thanks, Jeff. This week we observed Earth Day and the role farmers are playing in raising crops and livestock in a sustainable manner. The dairy industry has proven they can be a real solution to climate change. Dairy producers have been lowering their carbon footprint for many years through practices like installing methane digesters to convert manure into electricity, or using food byproducts in the dairy ration.
Cows in particular are great upcyclers. They eat foods from the human food supply that we can't use, things like peanut shells and spent grains.
Livestock producers all recycle manure to use in crop production and to produce feed. Grain farmers use precision ag and conservation practices to be more environmental. Ahead on Ag Week TV, we'll take you to a unique southern Minnesota farm that's giving a diverse group a chance to grow.
Systems way. Good work, good pay, in a good life, lets me live my way. Good work, good pay, in a good life, Trans Systems way. Good work, good pay, in a good life, lets me live my way. It's the Trans Systems way. Good work.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
For over 130 years, Farmers Mutual of Nebraska has been providing protection from the unexpected. Farmers and ranchers choose Farmers Mutual insurance coverage for their industry experience, prompt claim service, and unmatched financial strength. Experience an insurance plan that's customized for your operation. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
We have products that no other companies have. That gives us a bit of an advantage and a bit of an edge, and it provides some security to our customer base that we've been here, we're here to stay, and we want to still provide these new innovations to the customers today. It's cold granulated products where we're putting together multiple nutrients. We've got products in our Micro Essentials lineup that contain sulfur and zinc, and we also have products on our potash side which contain boron, which is a newer product for us, which is called Aspire.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has the storage, conditioning, and handling equipment to fit any size operation with a wide variety of options and accessories, including our patented Blockbuster auger to help break up blockages over the center sump gate, and a full line of mixed flow grain dryers with even heating, excellent efficiency, and expandable capacities. Protect your investment and market your grain. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with Superior Grain Equipment.
With unseasonable conditions in the region, could warmer weather be on the horizon? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
General weather outlook going forward over the next couple of weeks here. Another weekend goes by with another great big weather system over, well, centered really on North Dakota with areas of heavy rain and in the west some really heavy snow. Our spring weather pattern has gone wet. There have been concerns that some parts of the northern plains will be looking at drought going into spring, and that area of drought is shrinking greatly. This cold weather pattern, the wet weather pattern, has brought down a fair amount of cool weather as well. But what we're going to see here as the calendar turns from April into May is that there will continue to be these warm surges. Southern plains are heating up nicely. There's no snow on the ground in the southern plains or the central plains, and the ground is still fairly dry. So there's plenty of opportunity for that weather to get up into the 70s and 80s and even maybe approaching 90, and at times that may surge northward. For the moment, though, we've got pretty cold weather again. Heavy snow, parts of North Dakota has drawn cold air southward. That won't really last that long. Should be melting reasonably quickly this week. And as we go through the week, then, we will actually see a little bit of ridging take place. Some of that warm weather getting up into the 70s to maybe lower 80s will be getting up into South Dakota, and hot weather down in the southern plains as well. Now, as we progress on through the week, the cold weather really is retreating back to the areas around Hudson Bay, the far northwest, even parts of Alaska are starting to see some warmer temperatures. As we move into the weekend, there'll be a little bit of fluctuation here in the middle. We'll start to see a little wave come through that will likely cool things down a bit and drop some of that warm weather southward. And over the course of the coming week, I look for some ridging to pull some of that warm air back again. And again, it's probably not going to stay consistently warm anywhere of the northern plains, upper Midwest, but there will be some surges. Now, as far as precipitation goes, this last week of April From the southwest up through the northern plains and up into southern Canada, it's going to be fairly dry, maybe little to no precipitation at all. Southeast will be fairly wet with showers and some thunderstorms there. The Pacific Northwest will continue to be wet, little to no rain for California. There may be a shower or two somewhere through this, but I don't expect anything well organized. Now, the second week, which is now the first week of May, I expect the dry pattern to shift east a bit into the eastern United States, and we'll start getting rainier weather into the northern plains and down into the western part of the Corn Belt. There's actually been a couple of models that suggest there could be a little bit of wet snow if the weather cools down enough. That's not a forecast, that's just a possibility, but it will be fairly stormy in the Pacific Northwest, and it looks like we'll have some above average rainfall in the northern plains for that first week of May. So again, in review, the spring has gone wet in what had been a fairly dry northern plains, generally wet and cool with a few warm surges.
It's going to be an interesting year in agriculture. We have already seen the markets trade to new crop highs and levels not seen in years. There is uncertainty around the 2022 growing season. Will drought impact production? How many acres will be switched? And will demand remain strong? Are you getting the information you need to make the right marketing decisions? With the changing market environment, maybe it's time to change how you approach your grain marketing. Let Martinson Ag Risk Management get you the news that matters and a marketing plan that suits your needs.
AuctionBlock.com. First with online equipment auctions in 1999. First in worldwide registered users. AuctionBlock.com. Online farm, construction, and transportation equipment auctions every Wednesday. Sell with the leader. Call Auction Block today, 218-483-7880, or visit us online at AuctionBlock.com.
Since the inception of Vatterstadt, the spirit of innovation has led the company. We push the limits, providing innovative and reliable seeding and tillage solutions that simplify everyday life for farmers. We continue to reimagine the capabilities and technology behind farm machinery, providing customers with a perfect emergence while maximizing their yields. We look forward to growing together.
Last year's drought really cut into yields for some growers. Couple that with high and rising fertilizer costs, and that can lead to real problems for growers. But there is a solution. AquaYield products save you money because you use much less.
If the average price of what you're going to use in the AquaYield products is anywhere from $12 to $15 per acre, you can compare that to standard fertilizers that would be up in that $50 to $60 per acre.
AquaYield's efficiency comes through the use of nano-liquid technology.
But we've had proof of where farmers can see a bushel increase.
AquaYield is unique in that it can be deployed as a delivery vehicle into micro and macronutrients and other crop protection products a grower is already using. It protects them in the patented AquaYield nanoparticle. These tiny particles penetrate root and leaf tissue, improving absorption into the plant. Nano-liquid technology truly lets you use less and yield more.
It's fun to sit down with the producers and go through the details of what nanotechnology is all about.
NDSU's Animal Science Department has a new leader. Guillermo Scaglia grew up in South America and came to the U.S. to study ag in 1994. He has a vast background in animal science research, particularly in grass-fed beef production. Scaglia says he's thankful for the opportunity to advance ag research at NDSU.
I'm excited about the department. I'm excited about the possibilities of developing more research projects and outreach programs. I think we have an excellent faculty and staff that will probably make my role a lot more exciting than in any other place.
Scaglia previously worked at both Virginia Tech and the Louisiana State University Agricultural Center. Northfield, Minnesota is home to a unique farm that gives a diverse group of people a chance to try agriculture. Sharing Our Roots is a nonprofit organization with a mission to advance a resilient ag system that demonstrates the power to heal the land, nourish communities, and prepare emerging farmers. The Sharing Our Roots farm is entering its 6th season on its 100-acre parcel. The farm serves many purposes for a diverse group of people and enterprises.
It's a site for research and demonstration. It's a sanctuary for wildlife and community, and it's also a home base for emerging farmers and farmers of color.
Sharing Our Roots also addresses food insecurity in the community through food distributions and community gardens. Still ahead, Kristen Clark bakes up her favorite bread this week.
Spray Advantage is a full-line, full-service dealer with everything you need for fertilizer and chemical applications, like electronics from Microtrack and Raven, pumps by Banjo and John Blue, a full line of poly parts, tanks, and spray tips. We support the equipment we sell with factory-trained service technicians and a well-stocked parts department. It's our commitment to offer you quality products at competitive prices with the best financing options available. Spray Advantage, proudly serving North Dakota and Minnesota.
Every season has an end. After spending your whole life building something, it can be hard to move on to your next stage in life. But when that time comes, you deserve to have someone you trust guide you through the process. And by trusting us to pass on your legacy, it gives someone else the chance to create their own. Every auction has a story. Let us share yours.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has the storage, conditioning, and handling equipment to fit any size operation with a wide variety of options and accessories, including our patented Blockbuster auger to help break up blockages over the center sump gate, and a full line of mixed flow grain dryers with even heating, excellent efficiency, and expandable capacities. Protect your investment and market your grain. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with Superior Grain Equipment.
The team at North Star Ag is committed to quality and committed to you. We're not just a full-service dealer, we're farmers too, so we know you need the best machinery and services that'll keep you going all season long. We have the largest equipment inventory in the upper Midwest with a well-equipped parts and service department. So whether you need machinery tomorrow or parts today, stop in and experience what North Star Ag can offer on our website at northstar-ag.com or give us a call at 701-361-4790.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
If you'd like to try your hand at baking bread but are a little intimidated, Kristen Clark has some tips. Clark is the Iowa farmer who writes the Food and Swine blog. She's also a monthly Ag Week magazine columnist and shares videos at agweek.com. This week, she shares a video recipe for simple country bread. Stories you'll only see on agweek.com and in Ag Week magazine this week. Heavy snows delay planting for many growers. And the soybean industry hopes to learn from the EPA's restricting of Enlist Duo and the reversal of the restrictions. Thanks for watching Ag Week TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have yourself a great and safe week.